It is incredibly sad again that we lose another UK theme park, with Oakwood in Pembrokeshire, South Wales announcing it's closed. That's it. Making it the second park to close in the last year after Flambots. Now, first of all, massive thoughts go out to the people that are employed by Oakwood. I'm sure they work hard behind the scenes trying to keep the park up and running everything. But there was an announcement for it, and I have to say, I'm going to be a bit controversial here. Again, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised the park's closed, and I think money was very much diverted into the wrong places. First, we visited the park a few years ago. I have to say, I didn't enjoy it. Didn't enjoy it at all. I thought the park looked very run down. That was then. I thought Megaphobia was an awful wooden coaster. For people to say it was the best, it baffled me. Absolutely baffled me. And the park obviously agreed that as well, because they did a refurbishment of the ride over the close season of 22 leading into 23, where they changed parts of the track, including the drop. We'll get onto that shortly. When we went, rides were closed, Bounce, Drenched, Pirate Ship, all shut. All shut. And since then as well, they have lost other rides like Spooky 3D, which was open then. The James and the Giant Peach roller coaster, or whatever it was called in the end, also closed. That wasn't open either. It just felt really lackluster. I was really impressed with Neverland, but for me, the standout was speed. I thought that Gerstlauer Eurofighter was incredible. Parker said they invested 25 million since taking over in 2008. Since 2008, it was due again to go a little bit bankrupt. But I'm going to question some of the money spent, to be honest with you, and why they did it. Now, they did say when they redid Megaphobia a couple of years ago that it didn't actually need doing. Sure, they realised that it got rough, and it was rough. It was proper rough. But it didn't need doing immediately, and it cost between 1.3 and 2 million pounds to do it. And their statement says it all. And I'll read this directly from their statement. Wooden roller coaster was completed to great success from enthusiasts and fans of the park. There's your problem. They're not the people that bring in the money. You're trying to attract new people. And it does feel like the Megaphobia project was done for enthusiasts, quite simply. And yeah, the enthusiasts loved it, absolutely loved it. But it didn't allow them to advertise it. You can't put Megaphobia, new drop, new bits of track on a promotional bit of material and expect new people to come to the park. And let's not forget, they've got Folly Farm just down the road. Folly Farm is a beautiful zoo, in addition to having a wonderful vintage fair. Yeah, sure, it doesn't have the roller coasters, but it's got a wonderful vintage fair at a very good price, to be honest with you. We did look to revisit last year, and the cheapest we could find it over the summer period was £38, which is ridiculous price when you consider what it is to get into like Pleasurewood Hills, Drayton Manor, or anything like that for the rides they had on offer. Let's not forget, we went a few years ago, Drench was closed. Drench was actually being repainted at the time and the water was running. Now, take into account that there's two reasons this ride didn't reopen. One, the boat never arrived back. And two, the pumps and how much it cost to put the water around. Drench was just one of those rides where they didn't want to remove it because it cost too much, but at the same time couldn't afford to run it. It just sat there. Just the way it is. And then Bounce. Bounce was broken for quite a long time. They got a company in to fix it, and they did fix it, but was it worth the cost? Really, was it worth the cost? Would it have been better to go and get a drop tower from somewhere else, or actually spend the money in getting something else and selling Bounce, which had caused them quite a lot of problems, and of course did have an incident towards the end of last season where it closed early. When Megaphobia was being done, of course, it didn't open for two of the busiest periods of the year, which was the Maybank holidays and the Easter holidays. That went into the summer, and it just seemed 2024 didn't have a lot going for them, and the ticket price certainly reflected a no-visit park with Folly Farm down the road. In amongst all of this refurbishment and bits, they also moved the park entrance, which was, why bother? Why bother? You can't advertise on a bit of paper, new park entrance. You can't do it. And they repainted Speed. Again, sure, looks great repainted, but why bother? Why bother doing it? I think what the park needed to do, and we've seen from our local parks just, what you can snap up ride-wise if you really want to. Really want to. And there's plenty of second-hand rides out there that are 1 to 200k. If you've spent 25 million, and I would argue a lot of that is on Bounce, Megaphobia, repainting speed, trying to get something out of Drenched. I don't know why they bothered. I think, honestly, the cost of the scrap metal probably would have outweighed taking it down and putting a field there. And indeed, moving things like the entrance. Take that money, get some new attractions in. Don't spend on new attractions, but get some second-hand attractions in. Something you can put on the front of a map, something you can splash on the website as being new for this year. There's been nothing new at the park at all. There's no, you look at the thrill rides, you go now and look at the rides on there. There's nothing that screams, come to Oakwood. We're still living on Megaphobia. We can't advertise that's had a new track drop. People just don't care. Don't care, it's not new. And we're still living on speed, which is fine. It's a great ride, but what's new? And the answer was nothing. The money would have been better spent elsewhere to get people to revisit the park. Again, going over summer, we were looking at places to go over summer, and anyone that follows the channel knows that in the end, we went to Great Yarmouth, where we got into Pleasurewood Hills for £20, and we got into the Pleasure Beach for £20. We got into nearly both of those to what one price of the ticket would have been for Oakwood. And arguably, you could argue both of them have got better rides. But I don't know. Am I being cynical? Probably, because people say I am. But I think the money was invested wrong. It is incredibly sad to see theme parks go. And I see, people comment about places like Blackpool and Chessington and what they do. They are doing it right. They're realising what's going on. They're refurbishing rides that are worth refurbishing. And then making cuts elsewhere while still being advertised something new for this year. Something's coming this year. Something is happening. This is new. Come and visit the park. And it just feels like Oakwood got a little bit lost in that, which is a real shame. It's a real shame we've lost another park. I did want to go and ride Megaphobia again to see if it made a difference. And ultimately, what it feels like they did for the enthusiasts killed the park. Fingers crossed it's taken over. Fingers crossed.